making pickles. So here we've got 4 pounds of pickles, because the cucumbers off our vine look like this. Garlic, pickling salt, without iodine. Plenty of vinegar, because this recipe takes 2 quarts of vinegar and water. So we got the vinegar and the water boiling. Won't even fit in one pot. And here's our hot water bath coming to the boil. Water level is low, so we can fit the jars in and still have enough room. I've got a couple jar lifters. And all of our empty jars ready. Now we're going to slice up the cucumbers and load up the jars with fresh dill from the garden and garlic in the bottom and some peppercorns. So now we've got our fresh dill from the garden. Our pickling brine is boiling with pickling spices and the salt. And then we've got peppercorns. So in the bottom of each of these jars we're going to put a little bit of a sprig of dill. It'll be a little bit loose in there. As we add the brine, it'll get packed down. And just a few peppercorns. We don't want it to be too spicy. And then we'll take a scoop of garlic. And we'll put some of that on there too. And we're going to do this with all of our jars. I hope we've got enough because we have a lot of pickles. Now we're cutting up our pickles, or our cucumbers, putting them in the jars, just stacking them up as much as we can fit in, but we're still leaving room to cover with the brine. I'm going to do some as hamburger slices, and then we're going to cut some up as spears. And as you can see, I had to put them in half already so that they'll fit into these jars. We're all done slicing up the cucumbers. We did the last batch as spears. We took half a cucumber and cut it into slices lengthwise. Kept cutting again until they were in a spear shape. And we're down to our last jar. In spears, you can fit more in than you can with the hamburger slices. So we were able to get all those cucumbers into the jars that we had. It's a good thing too.
Here.
I was about out of jars. And if the half cucumbers are too tall, cut them off till they fit. And then you have some ends left over as slices to eat fresh. Now we're filling the jars up with the pickling brine. And I find it's easier, instead of trying to take a huge pot and pour the brine into each jar, is to use a measuring cup. And then you can just scoop in, get out a small amount, and pour that into the jars. And you want to make sure that you've got enough to cover them all the way to the top, but not so much that it's going to spill over when you put the lids on. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2-piece canning lids. We're going to screw it back together. And once its lid's on tightly, we're going to put all of the jars into the canning bath for 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got the lids on our 4 jars. Now we're going to grab them with a lifter. And we're going to put them into the canning bath. The water won't cover the jars at first when you put the first one in, but the more you add, the more the water level is going to rise. Now with all of them in, they're rattling in there, boiling, getting ready to go. leave them in there like that for 10 minutes. And when they're done, we'll pull them out and put in the next batch. The last 4 jars are done, so we're going to take them out of the water bath. Come over here on the cutting board to cool off. That is hopefully the sound of the seal being made. And there you have it. 8 jars of pickles, spears, and slices ready to go. And when the jars have cooled off, we'll put labels on them dated 3 weeks from today so we know when they'll be ready to eat. Yum.